والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. In 4 minutes, I'm not wearing my glasses. I need to give a short reminder, and the Sheikh was telling me make it 4.5. So I'll do my best, inshallah, to make it as short as I'm able to. The Sheikh was reciting in Salat al-Isha, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. Why? هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. Clearly that Allah Azza have revealed the Quran, هدى للناس, guidance to mankind. وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. It's clearly, clear guidance and bayinat, clear rules and regulations to put them on the straight path. Now, we know that the longest surah of the Quran is Surah Al-Baqarah, right? And it contains a lot of stories. What's the first story in the Surah Al-Baqarah? Quickly. Not Bani Israel, no. What's the first story in Surah Al-Baqarah? Adam, there you go. The first story in the Surah Al-Baqarah is Surah Adam alayhi salam. And it starts immediately after exposing the hypocrites and the kuffar and the munafiqeen. And Allah Azza said to Adam, Ya Adam, uskun anta wa zawjuka al-jannah. O Adam, uskun. And the word in uskun in the Arabic language, it means peace. It comes from the root of second. Second means peace, ease, comfort, tranquility. As if Allah is saying to Adam, Ya Adam, you and your spouse create the second in Al-Jannah. We all cling to Al-Jannah, right? We think once we make it to Al-Jannah will be everything, khalas. But Allah is saying that to make Jannah, you need to create that through your second, which is the beautiful relationship that Allah have created for human to live by on this earth, which is the ibadah of zawaj. And as I said again, I'll try to be brief. Allah Azza wa Jal said to Adam, وَكُلَا مِنْهَا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا وَلَا تَقْرَبَا هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةِ. Provided for them the guidance, how to live their life and how to create the atmosphere within the family that will create for you the second, which is an optimum need for mental health, as we call it nowadays in our life. When people come to me having mental health issues, the first thing I ask them, whether they're adults or children, the first thing I ask them, how is the family dynamic? And subhanallah, right away, I can figure that the family dynamic is not optimum. There is a problem in the family. As a result of that, they're exposing mental health issues. Allah Azza wa Jal throughout this surah explains to us how we're able to work this beautiful dynamic in the family to have an optimum mental health. Now, Sheikh was reciting throughout the Taraweeh ركعات أحل لكم ليلة الصيام إذا الرفث إلى نسائكم هن لباس لكم وأنتم لباس لهن. طيب يا Rabbi, you're talking about Siyam, you're talking about this ألك عبادي عني. Now, what's the connection between أحل لكم ليلة الصيام الرفث إلى نسائكم? You're permitted on the night of Siyam to engage with your spouses. To tell you that as you are doing your ibadah of Siyam and Qiyam and recitation of the Quran, there is another ibadah called to be in the family. This is a family that Allah created for you, so you're able to have a second environment that is helpful for you and your spouse, and most importantly to your children. And for Allah's sake, I always talk about it that we are unjust to our children because we do not provide for them the beautiful environment that help them to nurture their personality and integrate an Islamic identity in their life. And then after that, Allah Azza wa Jal once again talk about this relationship. نِسَاؤُكُمْ حَرْثٌ لَكُمْ فَأْتُوا حَرْثَكُمْ أَنَّ شِئْتُمْ. Your spouses are harth to you. And again, Quran talks about this beautiful relationship in multi dimensions without getting into explicit language. And in my book, this is between two brackets, which is about the psychosocial dimension of the family. I talk about intimacy being composed of 4 dimensions. The first dimension is spiritual dimension, the second is intellectual dimension, and the third is recreational dimension, which leads and paves the road for physical intimacy. And if we were to explore, the ayat of the Quran, even afterwards, how Allah Azza wa Jal speaks about the illness that, could be hitting the family and how to deal with it. للذين يؤلون من نسائهم تربصوا 4 أشهر فإن فاءوا فإن عزموا الطلاق فإن الله سميع عليم. Allah Azza wa Jal says to those, some people who think, some brothers, some men who think that Their masculinity would be to be a dictatorship at home. If you go outside, you are da da da. You're not a man. Period. You're not a man. Because if you were to be a man, you should not be saying these words. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla made you a qawwam. In my observation, most people in our community, most male in our community, when they're bankrupt in their argument, they resort to two things: aggression and religion. Aggression by being violent, and religion by using the deen for their own benefit and ignore the benefit of the others. And then after that, Allah Azza wa Jalla speaks about the different dimensions of how to deal with the issues when they erupt in the family, and how something that many brothers, including myself, are not aware of, the issues that sisters would deal with during the pregnancy and after delivery, which we call postpartum. I can bet you, in the masjid, one or two probably knows or have heard about this term. So being aware of this and the circumstances that leads with the hormone, disbalance within, the minds and the body of the sister, you as a man need to be more mindful, not for the sake of your, wife, but for the sake of your children, because eventually your children are the ones who are impacted with the unhealthy dynamic in the family. This is all mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. And this is what I want you to do from now on, exploring the Quran. Don't just read it for, sake of soothing your emotions. No, read it to understand and comprehend. بَيِّنَاتٍ مِنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.